What's your definition of fine art?
Well, I kind of go
versus other kind of art.
whether applied art or whatever. The standard definition is art has no function, no practical function.
Just like wall paintings.
Right, it has no practical function.
Okay.
I mean, there's art feeds into everything, into design, into architecture. There's art elements in there, but they're married with a function, you know. So pure fine art, there's no function to it except what it is.
Nothing's better or worse. It's just whether it has function, it's being used.
Right.
Like architecture or a lamp.
The function is an emotional function, really.
Yeah, okay.
Or to get people to think about things or to experience something.
So, as an example, your piece of sculpture at the Sofitel Hotel in Beverly Hills is fine art used as an experience for the customer.
Right.
So in a way, it is kind of a functional...
The function is experiential rather than practical, that's all.
It's customer service, in a sense, or it's...
But what if it's outside in a public space? Then it's not customer service.
But do you feel like that sculpture at Sofitel Hotel, it does kind of the same function as the architecture of the building, where it makes people want to come in, experience the experience, and stay there?
Well, architecture, interior architecture, which is everything else in the inside of that hotel is interior architecture.
Architecture could be used as fine art in a sense, because it's an experience. You're not functionally using
That's right.
something.
I mean, a lot of architecture is really like art.
Fine art.
It's true. The surface or the part you see is the decorative element rather than the functional element.
Okay.
So they're taking elements of art as a decorative addition to the functional.
You could say fine art, and I'm not agreeing with this comment, but you could say it's easier than functional art, because functional art, a lot of times you got to make it beautiful and an experience, plus it has to have a function.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Except there are constraints with what I'm doing. If it gets large, the constraint is it has to be earthquake-proof sometimes or wind-proof. I'm doing a sculpture in Florida. They have to withstand hurricane-level winds. Outdoor sculpture.
So the metal has to be a certain thickness.
Right. And balanced in the right way. And I use a structural engineering firm to analyze it. Wind loads and everything, and earthquake loads. But when it's smaller, it just has to not tip over.
Yeah.
What's the largest fine art abstract sculpture that you've created that's been made?
Probably 6,000 pounds.
And how tall and how wide?
Like 17 feet long, 12 feet tall.
Okay.
Fine art versus commercial art. Well, an artist you've heard of, Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
He worked for like 15 years as a commercial artist, doing illustrations for magazines, for shoes and everything. Then he switched to fine art.
Paintings.
Paintings, prints, yeah, some sculptures, you know. So that was a switch. So that's an example of a difference. Yeah. I mean, he was basically commercial drawing, illustrating stuff.
So it's safe to say sculpture, paintings, some kind of art that is just to look at is fine art.
Right.
Even architecture.
Well,
elements of it.
What's interesting about that was, like, I heard an interview with a sculptor, Richard Serra, and the interviewer was saying, well, you're good friends with Frank Gehry, the architect. Don't you consider him a great artist as well? Well, Richard Serra got really mad at that question. He said, architecture is not art. They steal from art. Architecture has to do with elevators and toilets and plumbing and everything else. They take elements of art and steal it and put it on the surface of the architecture to decorate it.
Or they create the art from their own imagination and put it in.
But they create the architecture from their own imagination and has elements of sculpture, for sure.
Yeah.
Some architecture is really incredibly sculptural, incredibly like beautiful sculptures in its own.
But I disagree with Richard Serra there.
Yeah, I kind of disagree too. But I'm just saying that's the old school definition.
He sounds kind of like a hater.
Oh, he's an angry guy, or used to be.
Oh, really?
Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of familiar in a sense with the difference because I studied industrial design, which is product design, which is, you know, doing products that have artistic elements. I mean, they all came out, everything I did in school came out actually looking like a piece of sculpture as well as being functional.
When you went to product design school?
Yeah. So I realized I can't divorce, I was unable to divorce myself from my own formal sense as an artist.